Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding.
My man!
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well.
Welcome to the PP1 podcast.
It's great.
This is cilantro thing new?
No, you tweeted that.
I know, but I hadn't seen it in the open before.
That's fine. That's fine. Hey, I mean,
I remember tweeting it.
You made a big deal about me high horsing you before we started, and there's probably a good reason. You don't even pay attention to the intro. It's like, I just gotta go take a pee quick.
I'm taking notes. I think I'm doing like my pregame prep. I'm usually not paying attention to your handiwork, which I
2 weeks ago we locked eyes for the entire intro. I felt it. And this is how I'm repaid. I appreciate that. Speaking of funny things, oh, by the way, it's PP1 podcast. We're in Crier Media. We got a little truth bomb to drop on you in a couple seconds here. So just finished dinner. You guys finished just shortly before us. Addison, our oldest, she's in charge of salad today. So we're having like one of those kale salads you can get from Costco. So we're sitting on the couch. Goes up to Christine. She's like, does this smell bad? Puts the whole bowl in her face. Almost gags, like insta smell, like all of a sudden, like she's like, yeah,
like it just hits you like dirty socks in your face.
I was just like, yeah, it's like you wipe your bum and you're like, hey, does this smell like it's supposed to? Yeah, it's awful. Instant garbage mode. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's as bad as you explained it to be.
I told her, said sometimes you're allowed to make that call and we'll allow you to throw it out, but don't like. Literally, I'm not even talking close. I'm talking like you could have put your nose in the bowl. And then as I'm walking in here, I'm listening to some kind of argument. They're talking about my wife's age, and I felt like I might be coming to a homicide after I leave the den here. So I mean, hey, I verbally and audibly. I get this wrong every time. Audibly, yeah. You guys are all witnesses, so in case this goes to trial, here we are. So, fun facts. Life happens fast, as they say. Should probably get this out of the way, I guess, hey? Little news tidbits. Yeah. So this is as the last time you will see us on Crier Media / the Dean Blundell Network. As far as hockey goes, we're still going to be around for That Helps No One because you can't get rid of us that easily. We are moving networks to the Hockey Podcast Network after some long sleepless nights, a darkness quest like Aaron Rodgers did. We came up, decided to. We're moving along. We'll be back next week. Nothing's going to change. You'll still see our ugly mugs. Well, mine. You're pretty.
Is a darkness quest like exactly what it sounds like? You just go sit in a dark room somewhere. Do you go on a hike where it's pitch black and you?
No, I think you like live in darkness for like 3 days or something like that. Like all the lights are out.
Terrible.
It's like
so dark you can't see.
Yeah, like solitary.
But was it back in the 90s? People just used to go on walkabouts.
Yeah, voluntary solitary walkabouts. I'm just gonna head out. When are you coming back? Not a walk. You see Ted down the street? Yeah, he's doing a walkabout. He'll be back in a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going on. That's our thing. I invited Dean to the show, so
so he may drop by.
He may pop in. I didn't send him the link, but if I get a text, I'll send him the link. So Ted will have to be busy for a second while I send him that, if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our little news. It's bittersweet. It is a new somewhere else, and sucks to leave here because we've been treated amazingly well, but onward and upward. Everybody's happy. Dean's give us our blessings.
We're not really gone. I think
we're not like leaving.
The show is gone. Yeah, like we're still going to be around the Crier Media Network.
Oh yeah.
We're still we're gonna have time interacting with a lot of the different pods that are still here. I can foresee it. There's a couple of football shows that are out there that are awesome on this network.
Oh yeah,
they're not going to stay the course with that. Thanos staying here. We're still going to get your bad advice week to week from Ryan. I'm going to tell you stuff that doesn't really matter. It'll be a good time. Yeah.
All true things. We'll drop an occasional dad joke. So
yeah.
I mean, if we're getting like, the man, I'm bad with words the last couple of weeks. The what's it called? Housekeeping issues. That was our housekeeping issue. But we're still going to be going strong. We're going to bring the same guests and the same. Well, me, I'm going to be just as dumb as every single week. Ted just all of a sudden hit like you like phased out and it looked like you're going to like roll your eyes at me or something. It was awesome. That was good. Yeah, something like that. My Kinsey does that. It freaks me out. I'm like, it's going to stay that way one day. So anyway, that is the news on that. There has been some hockey news that we should probably talk about. Or do you want? I got one more thing, maybe. Well, no, we'll talk about hockey news first. So, Connor Bedard is a Chicago Blackhawk, like we all thought. There's no.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure, like we must have it on video. I said I'm calling this. Bedard's going to the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are going to do all the shit that they did, and they're going to get the first overall pick. I mean, it's not like it's some giant conspiracy, though. I mean, they did have far and away the highest odds to win. Like, what was the last big one? Was like Philly? Was it Philly that moved up and picked?
Yeah, Nolan
Patrick, and that didn't work out that well. So
no, so we're really hoping Connor Bedard's a huge bust.
So we get the local guy, and we get to listen to the Chelsea Dagger now. So that'll be fun.
Great song.
That must just kill his parents, eh? Like that must kill. He must just die a little bit inside too, sort of at the start, knowing that he's going to be a Blackhawk, before he just decides to like go ham and shut everything down and just crush everyone for the next 15 years.
There's part of me, and this isn't just like me being a Canucks fan. There's part of me that kind of thinks this whole story isn't over yet. You know what I mean?
Why?
With everything that's gone on with the Blackhawks, and I wonder, of all the guys, like we never thought about like a McDavid or Matthews or any of those guys, of all the players that have had this exceptional status type talent, for whatever reason, this is the one that's really rubbed people the wrong way, regardless. Like everyone has been asking, is he going to pull an Eric Lindros? Is he going to do? I don't think so. But at the same time,
No.
I mean, hear me out.
Yeah.
The circumstances are pretty interesting, all things considered. The Blackhawks, that organization is a bit of a mess. They did just sell $2.5 million worth of tickets after they announced who won the lottery. So, but I mean, they can't quite control everything. He could, I mean, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy, but is it possible? Could he? Maybe. Like, I just don't think he's probably built that way. I'm sure he's raised right. Or does he play out his rookie contract and like the first chance I get, I'm out of here?
Play out his rookie contract, play out his second contract, 26.
No, RFA status. He goes to Vancouver.
Becomes a UFA and then comes to Vancouver.
Although it costs us like 6 first. Oh no, that's if they offer sheet him.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Wait it out, everyone. Wait it out for that RFA.
The David Backus offer sheet.
Yeah. We'll
there's no way. I guess we're thinking about the Lindros thing, right? But it wasn't like it's a little bit different than that, because the Nordique weren't this piece of shit franchise that did a bunch of shitty stuff, right? Like they were just like not a very good franchise, like that just didn't win that much.
Yeah.
So that was Lindros being like ultimate, and then saying, I'm not going to go play for this Mickey Mouse organization and then it came out years later specifically because of the owner, right? Yeah.
And it's wild considering they go to become Colorado and instantly. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's karma, right? That's hockey karma. But part of the only reason that Colorado team won it all was because it was just littered with, it was just littered with
talent
that came from the Philadelphia trade. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Like Peter Forsberg was a better player than Eric Lindros. Like he had a better career. No, he probably wasn't the better player, right? But
at the time, yeah,
longevity probably has to. That's an interesting debate too. Is who's better, Peter Forsberg or Eric Lindros? That's a fun debate as well. But the ultimate career, I think. I mean, that could have been a 1-for-1 trade in a bunch of markets, right? But like so much was given up for that. I think. Like Chris Simon went the other way. I feel like, I can't even remember.
Were
There was
any of
Duchesne, I think, went the other way. Like there was a bunch of guys that were really good that sort of contributed to that team winning a Stanley Cup. I think it was a couple of years later when they made the trade, got rid of what was it? Got rid of Jocelyn Thibault and then traded for Patrick Waugh. That was sort of what pushed them over the top, right? And then the fact that
they
were
lucked
operating in
out on that one
non-cap
too.
there.
That was different circumstances. That
Another
one happened.
another thing of a super short player having, yeah, exactly. So that's a little bit different than, I mean, because it's the other way around. It was the player that was kind of being shitty, and it was the fans, you know, ultimately feeling the brunt of that in an organization that wasn't that good. This is the player is super high end, super classy. Not that Lindros wasn't. I think he stated after the fact, you know, what his reasons were, and I think we're all good with that. People are at peace with it now. But in this case, it's the franchise that is like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right. Like all of it.
I mean, it's
right?
not the
all
old
of it.
regime, all the players that used to
And
be
it
there.
might be. And I think that's the one thing that is gonna, that's the one thing that's gonna sort of set, you know, Connor apart from everyone else, is the fact that he's gonna be the one that's been like, I'm gonna raise this garbage franchise up from the ashes. I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna bring them back to relevancy. Like I'm gonna save this one great franchise, similar to what McDavid's done for Edmonton, right?
It just sucks so. I'm stating the absolute obvious here. It sucks so much because they just are on the end of the trash part of that whole run, of that whole dynasty that they had. You know, like they're
not going to miss a beat.
They've been not good for what, maybe 3 years.
It's like it's like Peyton Manning retires and then you get Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
it's like
okay,
just fuck off for a little bit and give the rest of the league.
But at least if you finish dead last, you were guaranteed that. This wasn't 100% guaranteed. It was pretty close.
What was the number? Was it like 75? Oh, so it wasn't that high.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else it went 26, then it went like 16, I think.
Like, I mean, you whatever. It's whatever. It was never ours to win.
No.
Right?
Like did you read that article about Frank Saravalli and how close the Canucks actually were? They're one number off. They had 13 and Chicago. So the 4 digits, like it was like 9, 6, 12, and 8. I'd have to go read the article again. Of the balls that, like the sequence of balls that fell.
Yeah.
And or whatever the combo. I would love to see how that all shakes down. And the Canucks had 13 and the one number was 12. And they're like, oh, they're one ball off. Like, yeah, well,
but one ball could be 30 balls off. Like, I mean,
yeah,
move it over one more to the left, and maybe they're 30 away. None of it means anything, right? Like, the only thing I think
hey, yeah, remember when Trevor Linden hit the post or Lafayette hit the post? Yeah, well, what if it went in? Yeah, what if it went in? What if it went the other way? We still lost. Yeah.
So I don't like. I won't dwell on that. Like, would it have been sucky if, you know, somebody sitting in the 8, 9, or 10 hole moved down and won the lottery and picked up?
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. Basically, everybody selected where they were supposed to select. So like nothing changes.
Yeah.
The only thing that's sort of shitty is like outside of the Bedard realm, where we're not going to be privy to any of like the top 5 players in this draft.
Yeah, no Fantilli. So now it's going to be what's his pickle? The defenseman, is Swedish defenseman, I think.
Which one?
2-0 Dallas. Not good. That's the only reason I moved the podcast up in the den, so I could watch the game on TV instead of re-logging into my account. NHL, we're doing this 2 weeks in a row. NHL draft rankings.
What are you trying to? You were going to name? Are you trying to talk about a defenseman?
Yeah,
I was talking about. Sorry, obviously Fantilli and then Leo Carlson are going to be the other 2 guys, and then there's Matvei Michkov, which is the kind of guy that everyone else is sort of talking about being like sort of right in between there, but obviously has like contract stuff that's going on in Russia. There are like a couple of defensemen that are in this thing.
Sandin Pellikka, that's the guy.
Yeah, Axel Sandin Pellikka, and then
That's
Yeah,
the one.
and then David Reinbacher is the other one. Like Reinbacher is probably higher rated than Pelika or Pelika. And
Pelika
then
brief.
yeah, exactly. And then you have Sat Shaw's guy, right? Tim Willander, who's kind of like a little bit of a mix. He's like a good skating, somewhat defensive defenseman who's got some offensive chops and can really move the puck well, right? So, but I don't know. Like, do they have to pick a guy, a defenseman at number 11? Like, I don't think so.
Or do they have to pick a guy? Would do they trade that pick? Would you trade the pick?
I would, but
would you trade the pick with something to get us out of just ridiculousness?
No, there's nothing that's going to get us. Are you talking about cap purgatory? Because that's a first round draft pick is not going to do that.
A first round draft pick is a lot plus a player. I don't know what that combo looks like, but is this a okay year to do it, or would you still stick to your guns? And
there's a lot of good players in this draft. I think probably if you were to listen around on any podcast right now, you'd hear about how Ryan Leonard, Fantilli, Leo Carlson, Michkov, all those guys could be easily number one picks in like just about any draft, right? So
except for this
Will
one.
Smith is the other guy that people are like sort of throwing names around about too. So not that Will Smith, but
you keep his name out of your mouth.
It's really good. There's some very high end talent, and then once you get past Will Smith, it sort of like levels out a little bit past that. Like now you're sort of moving into that third tier, and then right when Vancouver's supposed to select, it's like okay, now you're like bordering on the second pair or third tier. And are you going to take a defenseman who might not be in that tier? Are you going to take best player available? If that player is a winger, is that important to you? Like it's possible that they could get the right-handed defenseman that this team is looking for a very long time, but it's also possible that they draft in a defenseman, the guy who's the next Olli Juolevi, which is also, it's possible no matter where you pick. But I think what they're saying is that there's just so many solid forwards in this draft that like, somebody might value a Zach Benson higher than a Will Smith or something like that. And it might push a Will Smith down, or they might value somebody later in the draft, or maybe like a David Reinbacher goes earlier, or a Kobe Barlow goes before him, and it pushes a guy like Will Smith down the draft. And then all of a sudden you're picking at 3.
But 11, how many of those guys, I just want to cut you for, and then you can keep going. How many of those guys in that top 20 are actually going to be in the NHL?
I think a lot of them. Like they're all not next season. Next season.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, that's the
everyone's
thing, right?
freaking out and that's why I think BPA makes the most sense, because you're not going to get a guy that is instantly into your system.
And that's sort of the approach that I was taking for this, right? Like I don't think so. Okay, for starters, I think that it's possible that when you're selecting at 11, the player who might be like, 7, 8, or 9 on your board might be available at 7, because the guys that are like ranked 12, 13, and 14 might go in the top 8. Like that's how good the players in this draft are on the back end, not on the back end, but like
it fluctuates
on that portion of it that you could get, oftentimes in drafts, you'll see like 1 or 2, like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Like could get 3 or 4 there where you're going to fall out of projection for guys. And then what do you do? If you have like a Delibor Dvorsky, or you have like a Colby Barlow or somebody like that who's really good, and a David Reinbacher goes early, say that starts to push some of these guys back, that's the defenseman you wanted. Do you just take the next best right-handed defenseman, or do you what we were just talking about and be like, hey, take the best player available, see how he pans out, and then for me, it's manage your assets past that point. It's not draft for need. Like when is David Reinbacher going to play in your lineup in 2-3 years, and he's going to be Quinn Hughes' partner? Like it just seems like short-sighted to do it that way.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is you look at all, and again, I'm never good at the draft. We needs to pull up that site got at Canada SB Nation's done, I think, right?
Oh, is
so
it?
I can't rely on I think so.
Oh, wow.
Or something like that. On the forecheck, I can't rely on this year, which is tough because that was my go-to for the last 2 seasons. I'll have to find a new muse. I just look at every draft, and there's guys that end up cracking the lineup and end up, becoming, valuable talent on every roster. But it's not a guarantee. And we've also seen it in Vancouver for how many years where they do draft that guy. And it's going to be a bit before you see some of these players.
Fine.
In the last 8 years, they've come in sooner based on desperate measures. So that's a little different. In this case, they're trying, from what we see, they're trying to build the right way. So likely you're going to see that guy develop. Like even Niels Hoglander was on this team until he wasn't. And they thought, hey, we need to actually develop this guy, even if it's a little late in the game.
That has to be
And
the
they sent him
approach.
back down. Yeah,
you can't
So
ruin
I
these
would-
guys early. I think they proved that with a Jake Virtanen, and then look how long it took Jared McCann to get going. Like it took him a long time to figure things out after probably starting in the NHL too early, right?
Yeah. Well, he's just crushed. I mean, you're right. It took forever. And we're watching the Stars Kraken game right now, but he did some great things in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean,
And now,
he's been
and
very
now
good for the
he's-
Kraken too, right?
and now he's finally, he's getting an opportunity to be something, but he's had time to build that up. It's not just, hey, we need you to kind of go do this. We don't know what we're doing. We're hoping you do.
Yeah, it
That's
took
basically
him. It took him till Jake Virtanen was in the twilight of his career before he finally managed to turn it on, right? I mean,
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So the Kraken are down 2-0. This series, based on everything we've seen, is far from over. They could go up 3-1 after tonight. That'd be crazy. The Leafs are down 3-0. Is this it? Like, what's his name? Is it Jonathan Wall, I think is his name? What's his first name?
it's something like that. Yeah.
Jonathan Wall. I mean, see how just about scored. I mean, they're done, I think. Goaltending in this series, there's been a goaltender that has stood on his head and guys that have kept him in the game. And on the other side, Toronto is trying everything that they can think of. And then the one thing that's been working out well for them is done.
Oh, they're done.
Let's be fair for a second. What have the Leafs
In all fairness, you're done.
What have the Leafs done to deserve this?
Nothing, man. That's been the
but
running
I
joke
mean-
for anywhere. I should say that's been the running joke out west, which basically means anywhere west of Toronto.
It has to, like, at some point, even we have to be like, okay, this is cruel. Like,
Do we though?
the dead horse, we're now burning the dead horse and we're still kicking the dead horse. Oh, we got another dead horse? Right on. Let's keep doing this. Like, it's cruel and unusual at this point. Like, I think it'd be great to see Florida win. At the same time, I'm a little bit hoping Toronto at least gets a game. Like, this is insane.
I think they're going to get a game, but reverse sweep is like
Impossible. There's no way they win the series.
no. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how many teams have reverse sweep. I think Minnesota did it against Vancouver. Forever.
It's 4% or something like that. It's low.
They're done.
They're done.
It's like yeah, it's such a minimal percentage of it's like draft lottery percentages probably at that point.
Yeah.
So there's just no way. No way.
They need to go on like some miracle. They basically need Michael Jordan 3-0 Dallas. They are gonna need like the Michael Jordan,
Secret juice.
Secret juice. I don't think, because it's not a real thing. That's a problem.
You've been holding out on us, Mike.
Yeah. I can't help but just watch and just think, even I'm starting to feel bad for them. And we joke and we hate and
they have a cup. You feel bad for them. Why would you feel bad for them? They have a cup. They have banners hanging from the Air Canada Center.
Canucks have banners.
No, not Stanley Cup banners.
They have
Multiple Stanley, whatever. They have Stanley Cup banners. It's the one thing that they hold over everybody else's head, and it's true. They've got Stanley Cup banners. Like, never has a sports franchise done so little over the last 40, 50 years to garner so much love, admiration, respect, and attention.
The Canucks you're talking about.
I'm talking about the Leafs, man.
Oh.
They've done nothing.
You're not wrong either way.
I mean, yeah, you could say that about the Canucks, except they are not nearly as universally loved as Toronto is.
No, you're right.
The people like the Canucks like out west, and not even all the people like the Canucks out west.
Actually, a lot of people don't like the Canucks.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that it took this long for them to even get to the second round. And for 1 second, let's say they lose tomorrow. Let's just have the conversation.
Sure.
Then the next joke is going to be they still, what is it? Like they still haven't won a game in HD in the second round, or like all these stupid things, like all the meme
nothing
things.
changed. You could just rewrite all of those memes.
You just have to update maybe a couple of them.
Yeah.
But the rest are true. It's crazy.
It is absolutely like wacky, and it's not like it'll end at some point, and it'll end with a grandiose statement where they win the whole thing. It'll be like when the Cubs finally kicked the shit and they lost that stupid moniker and the curse, right? I mean,
but doesn't this
the Red Sox did it too?
Year?
Like it will no.
Didn't think so
No,
after?
No, not at all.
I
no.
Remember me talking about how Boston gets knocked out and they had the great record against Florida. Florida beats Boston, and they're basically playing their own story and forget Toronto's story.
No. I don't feel this wasn't the team. It might be more funny. It might be more funny that Boston got ousted right away. But so if Florida does what they do,
that's a President's Trophy.
Yeah,
that's not even
also still funny, right? I mean, we as Canucks fans fell victim to that too, right? I mean, strength of schedule.
I still didn't buy in on that team anyway.
No, but it was fun to watch in the regular season.
Oh, sure, but
so no, I don't feel bad. Like for a second, like, do I feel bad for like some of my friends?
Your new heart is
cold. It's cold. There's too much metal in there. It's cold. I feel bad for like my friends and stuff that I know are like really big Leaf supporters, right? And they feel bad about this. I feel bad for them.
How many of those do you have?
Like maybe
I know them?
No, I don't like to name names. So those people I feel bad for, right? But like, no, like Leafs Nation on a whole, I don't care. Would they care about us if we lost in a fourth Game 7?
They didn't care if we were in a Game 7. They didn't care. They're like, we've already went to sleep.
They wouldn't give a shit. I mean,
no, they wouldn't.
And they shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah. Just like we shouldn't care if this hilarious winning streak. It's the only reason I'm still watching the playoffs
I think
right now.
just because they're so, and again, the media comes into this. There's just been so much spotlight on this whole scenario for years.
That's Toronto, man.
It is. It absolutely is. But when it gets to this, and then we think, oh man, it's still not over. Wow.
I mean, things could be way worse. Like, I'm a Browns fan.
You are.
Ain't nobody.
Hey, they're getting a new dog logo.
Ain't nobody feeling bad for me, and I don't want them to. You know.
They're getting a new dog logo.
I know. I don't know which one I like. I think I like the one with the forward-facing dog.
Yeah, the sideways one's kind of neat, but I don't think that's what they should do. If you're going with the dog, we'll go over that a little bit later.
Yeah.
The Oilers and Vegas. So similar scenario, and yet not. I kind of hope this series goes 7 games.
Yeah.
Because it seems like whoever's on that night, it's a blowout, and it's either Vegas or it's Edmonton. They feel like they're even.
Oh, like
they feel like as long as it's their night, like someone shows up and like, no, it's my night, and it just goes ham.
Couple of superiorly dynamic players on each team. Like, I would obviously give the edge in defenders to the Golden Knights. Team defense on the whole to the Knights. I mean, high end forward depth is to like high end forwards is Edmonton. Obviously, depth goes to Vegas. They both are going to struggle with goaltending based on their current depth charts. Like,
but there's enough on Vegas.
Nobody's writing about the battle that's going to take place between, Stuart Skinner and or Campbell versus Aiden Hill. Like, that's not a big topic of storyline, right? It's
the bloggers that still operate on WordPress.com.
The bloggers,
not anything official. Like, hey, you guys following this? Yeah, not even the official blogs, like the guys that just signed up on like Wix.com or whatever that's called.
Yeah, I mean, like this is going to be a fun series, right? I mean, and you can pretty much chalk Seattle into. And there's obviously a little bit of like a formula here when you're thinking about two of the most exciting teams that we're watching in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year is Las Vegas and Seattle, right? I mean, they're constructed very similarly. They have a lot of team depth. They have like not a ton of goaltending, but a bunch of like average guys sort of in and down the system. And it's like a very team structured games like these expansion squads. And I'm never going to get used to it. They're no joke, man. This is not your older brothers, Atlanta Thrashers. This is not your dad's Anaheim Mighty Ducks and your uncle's San Jose Sharks. Like these are good hockey teams.
You got any other family member teams? Any other?
I think I just blew my wad on there.
Just clean my can in a second.
Brian Bradley. Yeah.
Oh, former Canuck Brian Bradley.
So I mean, they're good. They're all just so deep because of the depth that you're taking solid NHL players from different rosters from these guys. These teams can't be bad, and if they buy in at all to what the coach is selling, like these are going to be quality teams, especially if they start working together.
Yeah, like this series, the way this game's going, there's just over half the game left here. It's pretty feisty. I could see Dallas scoring one more, and the series gets tied up. That just means like Seattle's been good. And so is Dallas. Like when they've both been on, both teams have been convincing.
Dallas is exciting too. Yeah,
there's still a lot to talk about. So yeah, the Oilers series, I wouldn't mind seeing that one go deep, and it would be kind of cool to see Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl go get one step closer. That being said, same feelings as Toronto. Life will go on. So we got Bedard. We got that. I want to get into something that is not hockey related at all. Well, it's like.
We didn't talk. We should probably mention the only series we didn't mention was New Jersey, Carolina, and Carolina's up in that season 3-1. But like, I was really hoping for a New Jersey Florida matchup. I thought that would have been a lot of fun.
New Jersey won not tonight, but the game before they won 8-4, and they get blown up 5-1 today. And we're going to talk about blowouts in the playoffs.
And this team isn't even fully matured yet. Like these are guys taking a crack at it, like don't know how to lose, and it's their first real go at it. So this team is going to be scary in the next little bit, and it could be like it's good enough that it could be like another Chicago Blackhawks style team down the road.
So I'm going to tease this. We chatted about goaltending last week. If you think they're that close to being like figuring it out anyway, do you think New Jersey goes after a goaltender in the offseason? Or do they keep what they've got?
Why not? I mean, I think that you should always be looking when you have a team that's ascending that fast, that quickly.
Yeah. You have to change.
You have to. We just talked about the Colorado Avalanche and that team that they got that basically Philadelphia assembled for them with all of those players that they had, the Sakic's and the Forsbergs coming into their own, Kovalenko, Duchesne was there. I mean, like there was so many.
Yui Krupp.
Like, I mean, that was a really important player on that squad. Like Adam Deadmarsh, like so many good players. And what was the one thing that they were missing? They didn't have a bona fide goaltender. So what did they do? They went out and made a trade and got their hands on a goaltender. And if you think you're close and this is a young maturing team and your window, is 3, 4, maybe even 5 years with the amount of depth that they have on the squad and the amount of good quality young players on this squad, then you need to go out and get yourself a goaltender. What you need on that squad right now to go win a championship is a Thatcher Demko.
I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it. You're kind of right.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be fitting that it's, of course, New Jersey again, another goaltender?
Yeah. I mean, the goaltending they have there is not bad. Like, it's not bad, but
that puts them over the. It doesn't put them over the top, but it definitely puts them. It might. I would take. Maybe that's. Just,
I would take Demko consistency with a Demko heater down the end than I would playing a bunch of guys that get hot and stuff from time to time, right? Like
just hoping it pans out at the end.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we'll look at that a little bit later on as the off season goes.
They're not trading Demko, but that's style of goaltender, right? Like Edmonton tried it last year, right? Like they went out and got themselves Campbell. And by all accounts in that big year, like not this year, but the year before, and they were talking about Team USA.
Or nothing, Dallas.
Yeah. They were talking about Team USA. We were still talking about the Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. And the goalies that they were talking about starting for that Olympic team, Demko was like the third or fourth. And
That's
by
right.
season's end, he was like
The guy.
Demko was the starter, right? It was like
Yeah.
Campbell, Demko, Hallebuck.
Wasn't Quick still there?
No, I don't think Quick was in that combo. Hallebuck. There was one other guy, I think, but it was like out of all those guys, like Demko was the guy that I feel like, was the guy that I would want to run with in a Team USA. So like there's some quality goaltending coming out of the United States. And Campbell never continued to ascend. He sort of fell into this weird place after having like a quality season. And if you remember him in World Juniors just being so dominant, but I think that's what Edmonton wanted to do. They said like take a chance on a guy like Demko's not available, but he was right there with Campbell or with sorry.
So we'll get the next.
So we'll go after the next best thing, and then lo and behold, they go get him. He signed him to the contract. He hasn't really held up his end of the bargain. In fact, Stuart Skinner's been stealing starts. No offense to Stuart Skinner, I like Stuart Skinner, but it's not what you were thinking. He wasn't supposed to be the A plan, right? It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be.
Oh, I mean, up for Calder. So, but I mean, so was Jim Carrey. The goaltender, not the mask. So, I got a question for you.
Okay.
We're gonna get off topic for a second. Father's Day is coming up next month.
Yeah, we got Mother's Day first, right?
Yeah, we're gonna bypass that for the second. Hey, you're appreciated, okay? Ladies, we know. We know.
When's your birthday?
September.
Are we gonna do a thing for your birthday?
I feel like we talk about this a lot. We should.
Yeah.
I like to be surprised though. I like not like take me out of my bed at 2 a.m. because I might punch you.
If I take you out of country or something like that for your birthday, you're going to have to be
case.
part of that planning process.
Yeah, there's a good chance. I'm too controlling. So, but Father's Day, like I was saying, is coming up in a month. And I was thinking about this today. Don't you feel like Father's Day is in the wrong month? Don't you feel if you're going to, hey, ladies, you'd almost think like the women might want to pick Mother's Day as a different month too. But don't you feel like Father's Day was placed in the wrong month? Right? Most dads, like everyone asks, like, what do you want for Father's Day or what do you want to do? And a lot of dads, I just want to relax and like be around. Okay, then why don't we move Father's Day to like September or October? September, like the start of all the sports. Like every year, for my birthday, usually Christine, what do you want for your birthday? I say something, and then I say, I just want to watch football all day. Because it's usually either the first day of the NFL season or it's the first Sunday of the NFL season. And I just say, I love everybody. I just want to watch the games and be okay with that and not be dragged around. That's all I want to do. So what if you put Father's Day in one of those months? Like, think how awesome that would be. The marketing ability would be insane. Father's Day, NFL. Like it sells itself. The Stanley Cup journey begins October the 6th, Father's Day. Watch hockey all day on Father's Day. Get jacked up. LeBron James, Bronny James, season opener, LA Lakers, Father's Day. It sells itself, man. I'm telling you.
Does it sell itself, or does like the voice
4-1
sell itself?
No, it doesn't have to be my voice. I just give it the Sunday kind of thing.
No, I know. I got to be honest. I never put that much thought into it.
But I'm giving you the opportunity, Ted. This is our show. I'm giving you the opportunity to think, you know what? Ryan's onto something, or maybe he's absolutely crazy.
I was just thinking, like, I would like Father's Day to be in like the middle of August, like the hottest part of the year.
So what does that resemble for you then? Like, what's your basis
just like
on that?
Being outside on my deck or whatever, just lounging. Maybe camping. Maybe I'm just like tending to the barbecue or something like that. While the kids play in the water, like I'm okay with that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't need much.
and I don't either. I'm just saying that's my point.
I'm not disagreeing with yours either. Like I think that's super rad. I'd love that too.
I think we should talk to calendar people about this.
I think it's super easy to just get something like Father's Day rearranged. We should be able to pull it off. No problem.
Yeah. Just start a movement.
Yeah.
But A worldwide petition to change Father's Day. How hard
we'll
can it be?
occupy Father's Day.
I saw Occupy. I remember that.
Oh,
I was in San Francisco we were there for the Niners and the Giants preview of the NFC Championship that year. And that was actually, I think that was the year that Eli won his first Super Bowl. And we were down there, and we were coming into San Francisco, and that's when Occupy was huge. And there's this huge like tent city. It was wild. Like, my first real like, holy crap, America is nuts. Like, it was wild. It was real. Like, you're watching people, and they've got, their whole like, it's like this little town, and they've got, barbecues going, and they've got all these makeshift like kitchens and stuff. Like, it was this little town. It was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, they're just prepared. It sounds like it would be like just tailgating almost.
It's like Amish tailgating.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. I don't know. What do I know? I suppose we should probably talk a little bit more about the Canucks, and then I've got a couple other cool things, and then we'll just go. We'll just leave. Did you see the Canucks got fined $50,000 for after season workouts? Like 50. Oh yeah, we had a little shindig. 50K. Why even bother saying that? Like, why even bother telling anybody? 50 grand?
Well, I've always wondered about stuff like that, because it's not like, I mean, yeah, because what was it? It was the practice was hosted by the Twins. It was like 5 or 6 players or something like that. Like,
what's the difference?
Like, like, I'm pretty sure the Twins are out there, but because they're like team representatives now, like
right.
now it's considered like an organized practice. But like, don't you as a player like want to get out and spend some time with the Twins on the ice?
What if it was in Kelowna?
Pick their brain or something like that. Yeah, like
you go watch a
game. Why not have it in Kelowna so nobody knows about it? That would be a good one. Like, why not have it in, just, I don't know, like anywhere? Why not go down to Victoria, or like, why don't you like, make your way over to Chilliwack or something like that? Like, why would you have it in city where everybody's going to have eyes on you?
But I'm just saying, like, how many teammates, and I'm sure there's a few. I'm just bringing up Kelowna because we see guys all the time. How is that any different?
Like I said, I think the only reason it was different is because it was the Twins that were there.
Right. It's so ridiculous.
I don't know. Like, does somebody rat them out? Like, yes. What's the process for this? Does somebody rat them out? Does somebody do you report that you're getting together, and then the league takes a look at it and then decides?
They saw this sign up sheet at Eric's crap.
Is there NHL like
didn't you guys
narcs that just like creep around from building to building, like the guys that sneak out of the bushes after you've parked in a spot and have pumped money into it yet? Like,
Daniel Sedin probably forgot to give his fake name on the 8-rink sign-in sheet. It's like, dude, you had one job to do today.
I mean, whatever. It's 50 grand. Like, it's just 50 grand that doesn't.
What's the point? Why even bother saying it?
It's 50 grand that doesn't count against the salary cap. And I know that like the league was like, like next time it's going to be worse and all this stuff. But like, I don't know. Was it a good practice? I don't know.
How did Willanen look? Oh,
that's just said. It sounds like an expensive ice time. That's all.
Yeah. Willanen looked great, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Ultimately, it's like silliness. Do you know what I mean?
I just don't get it. It's so stupid. So I looked into it's just funny. I mean, it's something we have to bring up. It's Canucks. I looked into before we started, because I've mentioned kind of the 8-4 game, and I need to go back just to confirm this, but you can just go on my hard stats, and you don't have to fact check this. There have been 26 blowouts in the playoffs so far. And anything basically 3 goals plus, I would consider a blowout. I mean, you can call it, but you can shave off maybe a few games in there. So even let's just round out some of the games that are just hard 3s and take anything maybe 4 up. I think there's about 20. That's a lot of hockey. That's a lot of goals. I'd be really interested to see how this playoff stacks up, because it really hasn't had a lot of the spotlight on it, like the best playoffs ever. And there's been some years where it's actually had a ton going on, right? Like every series is just absolutely insane. Everything goes to 7 games.
Just because we like to look up Google for descriptions on things, so I looked at how many goals is it considered to be a blowout. What do you think the number is?
Oh man, I bet it's 5.
So Of course, the term blowout refers to any game where a team wins by a significant margin. That margin isn't well defined, but anything more than about 7 or 8 goals probably qualifies as a blowout.
Wow.
That seems
So I'm
high to
way
me.
off.
That seems high to me, though.
So I'm way off.
It's
That's
way off.
That's Samsonite territory. Oh wow. Okay. So then that whole stat means nothing apparently.
Any game with a 6 goal differential is considered a blowout. That seems high as well.
I mean, wouldn't you say like 4 goals is a blowout?
Yeah, I would
That's
say like a 4 goal spread would be a blowout.
Yeah.
4 goal spread with no contribution from the other team.
Yeah.
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 So anyway, we'll take down the 3 goals. So with 4 goals, I could recount it, but I think it's about 20 games.
It's
That's
no.
a lot of goals.
Did you spend the time to count all that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's no 1944 game Detroit Red Wings versus the New York Rangers in a 15-0 bout.
Yeah, or Canada beating Team Japan in Nagano. Was it 22-0?
It's a football score right there.
Remember the 22-0 game that you likely did stay up because you were so jacked on Team Canada playing the Olympics, so you watched it in Japan after the Canucks released those stupid-looking Orca jerseys. And you're like, yeah, I'm staying up till 2 a.m. watch Canada crush Japan because I'm an idiot. I do not know better.
I was just going to say, like, what was Japan even doing? It was Nagano, so they got the team in, right?
So you're watching, you're like, I shouldn't be watching this because...
Well, they certainly didn't have Yoshihiro Hirano playing for them.
Okay, and so you're going to... I'm sure some people have seen this. You just showed me this before the show. You're going to have to, like, repost this on Twitter or something, and I'm sure people have seen it. Likely...
Can you play it?
That
would take some pretty techie moves, hey? We don't have a producer.
You vamp for a second. I'm going to find it. Talk to the people. Tell them precursor what's going to happen here.
So anybody that doesn't know, Yoshihiro Hirano is a member of the Abbotsford Canucks. So technically, this guy's a Canuck. We're going to just say it. He's not. But he's on an AHL contract. So I think sometime like about a month or 2 ago, just before Abbotsford was sort of qualifying for the playoffs, Hirano came to the Abbotsford Canucks to ask to be lent or sent out on loan to the Japanese national team so he could try to get his team to advance in status and ranking. I don't know what this is for, if it's like a pre-qualifier for the Olympics or because you know how that goes over the course of a bunch of years, just like this, like soccer or whatever, or if it's for like world championships. I'm not sure. But Hirano has been away from the Abbotsford Canucks for, I don't know, just like a month now. And they were playing what we think is Czechia. I'm not sure. I don't think it was Czechia because I think if they're qualifying, then it's even lower.
TikTok. It's not on Instagram.
Then
find it.
It's got to be a bad team. Like it's got to be like, I don't know, like Croatia or something like that.
Wait.
So he is easily the best player on the team. He's probably the only pro player, and he's probably the only Japanese player playing it as a high level as the AHL. So
this is Richard Panik. Sorry,
it's not the Richard Panik one. So, anyways, a ridiculous amount of hockey IQ, goes behind the net, makes a couple of high hockey IQ moves before he does this ridiculous play. And hopefully, Ryan, you have the clip to show it.
Yoshihiro, what's his last name?
Hirano.
Yeah, I had the video, and then here we go. I think this is it. Wait. Oh no, how do I pause it? Dang it. Just wait. We're gonna go share screen. There we go. Okay, you can all see this? Yeah,
you gotta make the screen big though.
Oh yeah. Folks, this guy means business. You want to see it again? Here we go. One more time. That's not right.
So we have to find out what team that is. Like, maybe it's France.
I think it was Czechia.
But Czechia is already like a high-end qualified team. Like they're like in the top 6 in world rankings. I can't see them playing Japan, and I certainly can't see somebody like Hirano beating up on them like that. So,
dude, it was totally Czechia.
Maybe it's France. I think we should have a little friendly bet on this, but
Okay. I'm saying it is Czechia, and you got France.
I'm saying it's definitely not Czechia, but my guess would be like it's
So you're
France.
taking the field.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
picking
you
the
sound pretty
unfair
sure
one.
that it's Czechia.
What are we doing with this? What are we doing with this?
I don't know. Why don't you think about it?
All right. By the time this posts, I'll have something. How about that?
Okay.
So anyway, absolutely ridiculous goal. And he's going to be a Vancouver Canuck because Hiroshi's, he's not Japanese though, is he?
Hirano?
No, Hiroshi, the guy on the Canucks.
Oh, well, yeah, he probably is of descent. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start a movement.
Yeah.
Let's get him here.
Okay.
Let's get him here. If you're scoring
Theo
6 goals
Hirose.
like that, you should be the Vancouver Canucks. Final thing.
Hirose is Canadian, but I don't know what his descent is probably.
5-1. 5-1 Del Stars.
5-1. There you go.
So is that blowout territory?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. North American blowout territory. Google, we don't need your stats. So as we fade out into the sunset on Crier Media, Dean Blundell Network, I would like to finish with one more great news tidbit. And I'm going to probably ask you maybe if this isn't your show of what your show would be. There are rumors that may end up happening that Mark Wahlberg is going to bring back Entourage.
Wow.
I told my wife, and she was equally as excited as I was. I think I would hook myself back up to HBO or Crave or whatever you call it now, just to make sure. And I'd probably binge watch Succession just to make sure I don't have any distractions. That Entourage comes back. Have you seen the movies? The movie? Were you an Entourage guy though?
I got through the first season, and that was back when it was difficult to acquire an entire box set.
Oh, you didn't illegally download them?
And I couldn't. No, I didn't. And I couldn't get like season 2 for some reason. And like I was trying to borrow it, and it was like $70 at HMV. Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time.
But would you actually no, you wouldn't watch it because I still don't have my football book back.
That's not. I thought we're done with that. Like you have a copy already.
I feel like you just need to read it. That's all.
I got a lot of books to read.
Yeah, I bet you do. You've had freaking a month off. What else have you had to do?
I haven't been reading books. Tell you that for free.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda. So what's your show then? What would have been your show if they were to bring back that was of that level to you?
Oh, man.
The Wire? Were you a Wire guy?
I didn't watch The Wire, although I just did add it to my favorites in Crave. Like, don't you feel like it probably has to be Breaking Bad?
See, I was thinking that. I was wondering if you were going to go there or not. And I still haven't seen season 6 of Better Call Saul. I don't know if it's out on Netflix or not. I don't think it is. I think it's out on Paramount.
Like I'm cruising through Westworld right now.
Oh.
Season 1 is bonkers. I'm 3 episodes into season 2, and I don't really like it that much.
Okay, season 2 is epic, though. Season 2, you got to ride through. Because so much happened in season 1, and then season 2 is just like things are getting realized, and you just got to stick through it. I think I faded out in season 3 only because we canceled our subscription.
Yeah, like I could handle like a fun redo of like Lost. I think would be fun.
Okay.
Right, like just same on premise, but maybe they carried it in a different direction or something like that. Like
Found.
Yeah, sure. Actually, the part I disliked the most about Lost was when they went back to like the US.
I think I saw one episode and I just hated the premise. I just thought this is so stupid, and I just gave up on it. It was like a new Gilligan's Island to me. I was, you know how I get mad about things that in my own head, like I've put my feet in the sand. This I'm mad about. Don't change my mind.
Yeah, I used to really like Dexter. But they brought that back, so I can't even say Dexter. I don't know how the new seasons were. I've never watched any of them, but
yeah, I think another one for me would be Seinfeld. That's a little less heavy. That's
comedies and stuff like that for sure. Yeah. I mean,
or Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place, maybe that would be fun.
We could
Ryan Reynolds coming back to his origins.
We could easily go back to
Spin
Yeah.
City,
Oh well, I mean that's
Sports Night.
Yeah, we could easily go back to a bunch of those shows and see them ripped up again for sure. That'd be fun. Like I used to watch Serenity. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
It rings a bell.
Yeah, Serenity, and then they came up with like and Firefly. Like it was this cool like sort of sci-fi show where they were in space and they kind of did their thing and but they were like cowboys but in space
Okay.
and then there was like all these scenes where they spoke like half Chinese and half English because in the future those are the only two languages that still exist.
Huh.
Yeah. And it was a really cool show and it only lasted one season. It was one of those seasons where the network kept changing the time. Like 1 week it would be on Tuesday at 8 and the next week it would be like
that's how
Thursday
you
at
know.
7. Right. And
That's
so
how
it was
know.
just getting screwed up. And so that one and probably like Arrested Development were
Which they brought back.
They did, but it wasn't the same. Like it wasn't.
And that's always the thing, right?
Yeah, they squeaked in old footage. You know what I mean? And they couldn't get the people around at the same time for and then they would do weird scenes on blue screen and stuff like. So it wasn't the same. But a different version of Arrested Development starting over again, I think would be a lot of fun.
Like Fuller House happening.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted it. I mean, I think I've seen it probably way too many times. But.
Yeah, well, it's definitely one of the girls watched it. They watched a shit ton of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was good with Full House. I felt they kept it. So anyway, that was my question for you. Figured.
Oh, you wanted to like talk real quick about the JT Miller thing.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Oh, save the best for last. Do you want to bring it up or should I do it?
No, I'm hearing about this for the first time that he's
okay. So JT Miller, and I think it's on Canucks Army. There's a few articles out there. JT Miller is trying to qualify for the U.S. Open, the golf tournament, not the tennis tournament. Everybody,
not like the Pro-Am.
Yeah, like legit. Now, the cool thing about the U.S. Open, if anybody's ever watched Tin Cup or any of these things, you can there are all these qualifiers across the states, and you can win your local qualifier in your state or your town and like move up kind of thing. And there's a few easy ways, not easy, but if you're good at golf, there are some legit ways to get in there, and you don't have to be the best, but you can have a good tournament and win like your local qualifier and actually make the starting field for the US Open, which I think is super, super cool. It's got a neat background story to that tournament. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely, I know obviously in the US it's stating the obvious, but it's a big deal. Imagine if you could do that for another sport and have an opportunity to go pro for a weekend. Like, I think that's really cool. Anyway, so JT Miller is trying to qualify for the US Open. They brought up that he's left-handed and he golfs right. I'm left-handed for hockey, and this is the same. And I also golf right. JT Miller and I, it's the same thing.
It's not the same.
It's so the same thing. How is it any different?
Because of the way you hold your hands, right?
Are you just saying talent-wise? Because we can throw the talent out the door.
No, like, so you stand on the opposite side of the plate when you bat than you would if you golfed.
That's correct.
That's not uncommon. That's like a very normal thing.
Is it though?
Okay. You both switch sides. Like, okay, that's the same, but it's not the same, Brian, because of the way that you hold your club.
So you're saying
you hold your club like you're still batting on the other side of the plate, like you golf backwards somehow. Like when you golf, you reach your when you golf, right?
Cross-hand grip.
You reach your
name
front
for it.
hand across.
Say his name. Say its name. Oh, you turn off your mic somehow.
I don't even know how I did that.
And you sound totally different now. It's messed up. So you're basically you're calling me out saying that that's not the same.
Because you still hold it the same way that you do your baseball bat on the other side of the plate. It's not the same. It's like your body wants to stand like you're left-handed, but you're holding it like you're right-handed. It's the fucking weirdest thing, man. And I'm okay with it now, but it's not the same as JT Miller.
I would like to find out. I should almost pay for his cameo. I would almost like to pay for a cameo and be like, listen, man, this is all I want. I don't want to talk hockey.
You know what? It works for you. Like, I've seen all your chipping videos. Like, you got the golf green in the backyard. Like, I mean, it's working for you, but it is not the same as JT Miller.
I disagree. I disagree. What a way to
It'd be
go.
like if I was like a ball player, I'm sitting in like this, and then like, oh, I also bat switch.
Yeah. That's how I hold the baseball bat when I hit right.
It's not this. It's not the
Actually,
same.
no, that's not true. That's not true. For some reason, it is different for baseball. I don't know why. That's the beauty of me. That's the shine that I give off. So this has been it. This is our last
Be
one.
like you're just the way you are.
Yeah, I'm beautiful.
Just the way you are.
I don't think I can play that as our outro song.
I think you probably could. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, 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 wah.
So bad. It's so bad. No one's even bothered to comment on this one, and I'm sure if we had comments, they would say, "Ted, please stop." And that's saying something because usually
I cannot wait for the show to end because I am smelly and I need to go take a shower.
Oh, you should put the bowl up to somebody's face like my kids did. So this is it. Crier Media. You'll see us again in football season. You might see us around the blogosphere. We're heading over to the Hockey Podcast Network. We'll be over there next week. You can catch us on. It'll look exactly the same. We've got the same logos and stuff, aside from the Crier Media thing. They'd probably hate if we brought that over with us. This is it. It's been a lot of fun. Enjoy yourselves. The Canucks are still not playing. Hopefully the playoffs get equally exciting as we go on. Looks like Dallas is going to end up taking this game tonight, unless there's some crazy comeback that we have no idea about. Hockey's fun. Time to play some baseball, get some golf in as well. This is it's been a good time. So on behalf of Ted, I'm Ryan, still me. This is PP1 Podcast on Crier Media for the final time. Shut up.
No, I saw this. It's just like I'm still Ryan, like, and then I instantly think of like I'm still Jenny from the block. and then so there was like this. They had this video, so she went back to her old neighborhood, and like she went to her old house where she used to live, and like the old owner was there, and he was like, "Who are you?" She was like, "I'm Jennifer."
Who?
And he's like, "Okay, who?" He's like, "I'm Jennifer. I used to live here." And he's like,
All right.
"All right, whatever." No, like you're just thinking about Jenny from the block and how like she's like, "I used to live here," and like nobody gives a shit. Oh man, I should find it for you. It's so good.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, don't be fooled by the rocks that we got. We're still Jenny.